We assume that you have the building tool plugin and also the utils plugin too as well. And you'll see here you have the building button. The shortcut is B to draw a building. But you could just click this button, draw one corner, two corners, extend, and finish your building. I could select a building and I see that the key and value already filled in, and also the building is already squared as well. So again, I could just easily draw many buildings this way really quickly. So there is a little trick here, is that if you already have a building selected, and if you then draw a building, then the next building will be drawn a different way. You'll just click once, and that's all you have to draw, and the building will be drawn parallel to the existing building you selected. But if you do not want to do it this way, you could just deselect the existing building and then draw a new building. Buildings are great in JOSM. You could use the copy and paste shortcuts. You could select the building, do Control C to copy it, and then move your mouse in the center point where you want your building to be copied, and then hit Control V to paste it, and it just copies the building for you. Also, you could use your undo button or Control Z to undo, or you could redo your last action, which is great. Let's see. Sometimes you have buildings that have attached roofs, or you want to draw a building that is more complex than just a simple square. A traditional way of drawing this would be by drawing two shapes and joining them. Usually you want some overlap, and then you will select both buildings, and then in the tools you would then join overlapping areas. Shortcut is Shift J. However, I like to use this nifty tool called the Extrude tool. The shortcut for this is X, and I use it a lot. It's basically a great way to modify a building by extruding different parts of it. And let's see here. As an example, I'll draw one rectangle, and then I'll press the X button, and then I could just double click on a point, and then I could extrude that section. I'm going to click on another point here, extrude this part, extrude another part again, and do it again. Now this building right above it is going to be a little bit more difficult. I think the join method is actually best for this, but I will draw two separate rectangles here and then join them. Go to my select mode, Shift to select both of them, then Shift J to join them. And there's other two nifty operations I like about buildings. You could easily scale buildings or rotate them. Let me draw a building which is slightly too small here to demonstrate. You could select an edge and Control Alt lets you scale a building here. And let's say you drew a building that had the wrong angle. Then you could select it, and Control Shift lets you rotate it. And of course you could always drag a building and shift its position as well. Okay, another good example is, let's go to some tanks here. Sometimes you see tanks, or you could see circular huts, for instance, in some countries. But to do this, you could easily just go to your draw nodes and draw a line which covers the circumference of the circle. And then from here you could do the Great Circle tool, or Shift O. And then this will draw a nice little circle for you. Now you just have to tag this as a building, but you should have this preset in your menu and should be able to just go to the building preset, and it automatically will fill in yes for a building here. Again, you could copy and paste a building multiple times. But those are just examples if those were actually buildings, but storage tanks are tagged a little differently. So let me demonstrate. Let me undo this, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. And let me select the edge here, and I see the building is the key and the value is yes. But I could edit this tag, and I looked in the OpenStreetMap Wikipedia, which is a great resource for finding the correct tagging. And they suggest for tanks using man-made, it auto-completes, and the value would be storage_tank. So that's the tag I want actually. So let me copy this multiple times.